Pyramid Head. He isn't a hunter, he's a verdict. Pyramid Head walks like time itself, steady, heavy, never in a hurry. The great knife screams across the floor and you feel it in your teeth before you ever see him. He doesn't posture or explain. He performs. Every motion looks like a ritual he's done 1,000 times and will do 1,000 more, with or without you. That's what makes him unbearable. There's no malice to bargain with. He's not angry, he's necessary. In Silent Hill, the town shapes itself around what you're carrying, and the red pyramid thing is the shape of guilt with a job to do. He appears because someone needs to face what they did. He keeps appearing until they do. The iron helm removes the face so you can't humanize him. The butcher's body makes the work feel industrial. The drag of the blade turns movement into punishment. Every inch paid for in sparks. When he finally stops, it's not triumph, it's a pause between sentences. Punishment that walks is terrifying, but the next creature is worse in a different way. It turns a room into a trap you already know, and asks you to remember why you can't breathe there. Abstract Daddy. It doesn't look like a creature at first. It looks like a scene that learned to move. Abstract Daddy is a bed frame swallowed by flesh, mattress angles under plastic slick skin, limbs that don't bend right, breath that sounds like it's fighting the air. It crowds you the way a bad memory crowds a doorway. There's space on the map, but none for your lungs. You don't read an enemy, you read a situation you've been trying not to name. That's the cruelty of it. Silent Hill doesn't shout what happened. It stages it. The body becomes furniture. The furniture becomes a cage, and the motions are mechanical in a way that makes your stomach drop. You aren't just dodging attacks, you're dodging the recognition of why this shape exists. Through James's eyes, it's something he can swing at. Through Angela's reality, it's the room she keeps escaping and the voice that keeps pulling her back. The monster isn't a symbol beside the story. It is the story translated into a shape the game can't mistake and the player can't ignore. That's why it lingers. You can turn off a TV after gore. You can't turn off a metaphor that fits. Abstract Daddy doesn't chase, it recreates. And once a memory has a body, leaving the room never feels like leaving it behind. From a prison where love is a lie, we step into a different betrayal, care that hurts, hands that heal, turning into hands that hunt. Bubblehead Nurse. Hospitals are supposed to feel safe. Silent Hill turns the antidote into the symptom. The Bubblehead Nurse sways like a metronome built for bad dreams, heels clicking, hips snapping, the head a sealed blister where a face should be. No eyes to meet, no expression to read, just the creak of latex and a hand that doesn't hesitate with a pipe or a scalpel. They move in bursts, freezing under your light, twitching toward the sound of your breath and the hiss of your radio. The hallway isn't a ward anymore. It's a trap lined with uniforms. Wyatt gets under your skin. She isn't a person. She's a position. Care without empathy. Attention without kindness. The design lures your gaze and punishes it, turning a medical space into a place where help is only a pose. The bubblehead suggests fever, suffocation, something swollen shut. The body is posed to be looked at, then weaponized when you do. Symbolically, the nurses carry the weight of sickness and shame. They feel like the hospital's memory of illness, filtered through desire that was never handled honestly. Care becomes control. Touch becomes threat. You don't fear what she'll say, she can't. You fear what she'll do and how routine it feels when she does it. In Silent Hill, the worst betrayals wear badges and smile in bright light. The nurses prove it. The right outfit can hide the wrong motive until it's too late. From toxic care, we move to pain that can't speak, bound tight, breathing chemicals and dying to be let out. Lying figure. This one doesn't posture. It endures. The lying figure shuffles like a person sealed inside their own skin. Arms pinned, legs restricted, chest hitching under a slick, zippered sheath. Breaths drag. Moans come out strangled. When it attacks, it doesn't swing. It vents, coughing acid like a body rejecting itself. Even when it misses, the message lands. Every step hurts. The horror here isn't just the damage it does, it's the condition it shows. Identity is gagged. Movement is rationed. You aren't fighting a monster that wants to kill you. You're bumping into a symptom that can only spill over. The corridor fills with the sound of someone trying to live through a suit that won't let them. Symbolically, the lying figure wears illness and repression like armor that became a prison. It feels tied to shame you can't confess and pain you can't medicate. A human reaction sealed until it burns through in the worst way. Acid as words you couldn't say. Staggering is the cost of carrying it. Silent Hill's trick is simple and cruel. Make you look at what you avoid. The lying figure works because you can't blame it without hearing the breath inside. It's not cruelty walking, it's suffering that found a way to move. From a body trapped in feeling to bodies made to be looked at, headless, interchangeable, and dangerous the second you turn away. Mannequins, they're not alive until you stop looking. The mannequins stand like props, headless, double-legged, smooth where faces should be. They're made to be posed, not to move, and that's the trap. You glance away to clear a corner and the room answers with the hard clack of plastic legs on concrete. No warning, no breath, just a sudden lunge from an object that shouldn't have opinions. That's why they crawl under your skin. It's desire without identity, bodies reduced to parts, arranged to be looked at, then weaponized the second your attention slips. They don't perform personality, they perform pose, and the violence arrives from the exact place you were trained to treat like decor. Symbolically, the mannequins read like a mirror for depersonalization, want with the person edited out. In Silent Hill, denial doesn't make feelings vanish, it strips the face off them and leaves the urge behind. The result is something that can't see you back, only react when you're not watching. You can fight a creature that hates you. It's harder to fight an object that moves because you blink. From objects waking up to the thing that watches over all the waking and sleeping. The attendant who treats horror like a ritual and bodies like tasks. Valtiel, he doesn't chase you, he tends to you. Valtiel is Silent Hill's stagehand, hooded, stitched, always at the edge of the frame, turning a valve or dragging a body like he's resetting the scene between acts. He isn't angry, he's busy. That's what makes him cold. Horror becomes maintenance. Pain isn't random in this town, it's scheduled. Watch how he appears, half in shadow, head tilted, hands already working. He'll twist a valve and reality flickers, as if the Otherworld needs pressure to stay alive. He'll retrieve a fallen body with the care of a mortician, not a killer, like the outcome was always meant to be guided to the next step. Symbolically, Valtiel feels tied to the town's ritual ecosystem, rebirth, purification, destinies shepherded toward endings they can't avoid. He isn't your enemy or your friend. He's the attendant, ensuring the ceremony continues. In a place where guilt becomes architecture, Valtiel is the one who keeps the architecture from collapsing. That's why he lingers after the jump scares fade. You can fight a monster. What do you do with a function? If Pyramid Head is punishment, Valtiel is process, the hands that keep the wheel turning no matter who gets caught in the spokes. Twin victims. They don't roar, they point. Two small faces, one towering body. One hand tells you to be quiet. The other stretches out like a prosecutor's finger. The twin victims stand too still for too long, and then the room decides it's your turn to feel accused. There's no wind-up, just a lurch from a shape that looks like it should be safe and isn't. That's why they hit so hard. Silent Hill twists fear into metaphors, but this one skips the metaphor and goes straight for blame. You aren't just in danger, you're being named. The childlike features make it worse. Innocence is supposed to soften a room, here it sharpens it. The body is the wrong height, the steps are too light, and the silence feels like a rule you broke before you knew the rule existed. Symbolically, the twin victims read like grief made mobile. Children taken by violence, returned as a posture we saw, we remember. Whether you tie them directly to Walter's history or see them as the town's way of indicting everyone who walks its halls, the meaning lands the same. They don't chase prey, they seek confession. Watch how they leave. They don't die like other things. They sink as if the floor itself is swallowing the charge they brought against you, only to hand it back later. In Silent Hill, some judgments don't conclude, they recur. From accusations that never blink, we move to a different kind of heartbreak. A child's image turned into porcelain, perfect until it breaks. Scarlet Silent Hill, Homecoming. She begins as a doll, too perfect to be alive, too present to be a prop. Scarlet sits in display light, porcelain skin unscarred, smile small enough to pass as sweet. Then something shifts. Hairline cracks lace along the arms and throat. Red seeps through delicate seams, and the room fills with sounds that don't belong to toys. Wet snaps, ceramic scrapes, a breath that isn't air so much as pressure. That's why she unsettles you before she even moves. The design weaponizes innocence, childlike scale, polished finish, glassy eyes, and then betrays it. When Scarlet rises, it isn't a monster waking up. It's a memory refusing to stay quiet, a shrine built to keep grief pretty until it can't. Symbolically, Scarlet reads like a ritual's aftermath, a parent who sanctified a loss so completely that the statue grew teeth. The porcelain isn't protection, it's denial. Each crack is a confession the mind couldn't keep sealed, and the violence that follows feels like the price of letting the lie stand too long. She fights like a broken music box, jerk, pivot, lunge, every movement accompanied by a sound that makes you flinch. You can't appeal to her. There's no person to reach, only the idol left behind. In Silent Hill, objects become sacred the moment truth gets buried under ceremony. Scarlet is what happens when the altar answers back. From a child turned into an object, we move to a relationship turned into a restraint. Two bodies lashed together, stumbling as one. Siam looks like an argument that never ended. Two bodies are lashed into a single posture, a powerful frame doing the moving, a smaller figure bound at the front, forced to face whatever comes next. Every step is a compromise, every attack is a shared act. You don't watch a monster charge, you watch a relationship stumble, strapped so tight that neither can fall without dragging the other down. That's why Siam gets under your skin. It makes control visible. One body handles the striking, the other becomes presentation, posed, constrained, unavoidable. There's no privacy in this shape, no space to breathe or choose. Even the sound of their movement feels like a promise that pain will be collaborative. Symbolically, Siam reads like Homecoming's family damage made literal. Dominance and dependence, guilt and enabling. The way two people can become a single bad decision you keep carrying. Silent Hill loves to turn metaphors into anatomy. Here, codependence is skeletal. You can't separate without surgery the town won't allow. Fighting Siam feels wrong because the horror isn't just the hits, it's the arrangement. You're not just dodging arms, you're watching a bond that should have broken long ago keep lurching forward. From lives welded together, we move to something quieter and somehow worse. A future Silent Hill where flowers bloom out of skin and beauty finishes what rot began. Silent Hill F, the flowering some horrors scream. This one blooms in Silent Hill F. The threat doesn't charge down a hallway. It threads itself through you, hair-like fibers slip under the skin. Petals push up from quiet places, and a face becomes a flower one, soft inch at a time. There's no roar, no chase, no bargain to make. Just the sound of stems growing where words should be. That's why it's so unnerving. The flowering looks beautiful, almost ceremonial. Clean reds, delicate shapes, a stillness that photographs well, but every pretty detail is a replacement. A mouth turned into petals, eyes traded for stamens, hands fused into bouquets. You don't die in a struggle, you're arranged. Symbolically, it feels like public shame turned inside out. Secrets become decoration, pressure to fit, tradition, reputation, the rules that keep everyone smiling, finally expresses itself on the body until there's no person left, only presentation. Silent Hill always makes inner life visible. Here, conformity grows teeth that don't need to bite. They just bloom. The worst part is the gentleness. Punishment without rage, transformation without permission. A garden made from people who were too quiet to run or had nowhere to go. These creatures feel wrong because they're not strangers. They're functions of guilt, trauma, desire, duty, and denial. The town doesn't invent evil so much as arrange it, shaping your inner life into something you can't ignore. When you swing at Silent Hill's monsters, you're swinging at the parts of yourself the fog won't let you hide. Which one hit you hardest and why? Drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Keep the flashlight steady and don't trust the rooms that feel familiar.